Ciao ragazzi, welcome to another edition of Serie A Sitdown. This is episode 198. We are part of the World Football Index. I'm your host, Richard Carmen. Obviously, you know Frank Crivello is in the house. He's a little bit feeling under the weather tonight, so I'm not going to do this alone, obviously not. I'm going to bring in a co-host. Finally, happy to have him on here. Someone who you all should know. If you don't, you're going to know him here in a second. He is a consistent resident in the Who Won Calcio Twitter nominees. I, of course, am talking about Mr. Uncle Sharmo. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you for having me on. Great honor to be standing in for Frank, kind of like Krunic is standing in for Frank Kessie.
There you go. I like it. Very good. So, most people know who you are, but for those who are living under a rock, do you mind just tell us about yourself and tell us about what you got going on here on YouTube?
Yeah, man. I'm just I make interrelated content on YouTube, primarily interrelated. I do try to make some Serie A stuff here and there as well. But yeah, match reactions, match previews, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you're into fans, you definitely should check me out. But I do promise to make more Serie A related content as well. So if you're even not into fan, you should check it out.
No, definitely for sure. And it's a great channel, fucking great videos, puts great content on Twitter as well. So must follow, absolutely. Big fans of yours, 100%. Really popping off really with the content, especially on YouTube. I mean, the video is nonstop. I mean, I am jealous of you because you pop out so much content. I'm like, I can't keep up with, man. I love to do the same amount of videos as you do, but I can't, man. You're this. So I'm thankful you're here for us, joining us tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Before we get into the games, because this weekend was pretty crazy with the score lines and stuff like that, a lot of big scores. The big news of the week is Sampdoria. No, I'm just kidding, not Sampdoria. Ronaldo leaves Juventus. We kind of knew this was coming, Uncle Sharma, but he finally got the word this week that he is going to Manchester United. And so many Juventini were saying, we don't need him. Obviously, we'll get into the game later, but your thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo, what his impact was in the league, and then your thoughts on him leaving.
Man, him leaving is kind of endemic of what's been happening in the Serie A over this summer, isn't it? Like everyone's left.
Your boy left. Two of your boys left. So
the two of my boys left. Yeah. Hakimi and Lukaku. But obviously, Gigio Donnarumma, your boy, left as well. It looked like Vlahovic was on his way out, but he looks like at least he's staying. But Rodrigo De Paul left. That picture, remember that meme, the one that the MVP list.
All gone.
Everyone's left. Yeah. Romero's gone. So
oh my goodness.
I mean, it's just the state of the Serie A at the moment. So it wasn't a surprise, and Ronaldo looked like he had a. Well, what did Ibrahimovic used to call it? A bellyache. You could tell that he wasn't particularly happy at Juve, which you can't blame him for.
No.
It's just, a lot of people say he was a failure at Juve, but a lot of people say Juve failed him. I think the truth lies in a little bit in the middle of those.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a big loss to Serie A. I mean, he was the poster boy for Serie A. Whatever you think about him as a footballer, he brings eyeballs and viewership. So yeah. He's a big loss to Serie A, man.
Do you think his time with Serie A was just up and he was just ready to move on, or you think it had a little bit to do with Allegri and he was maybe unsure of what Allegri would bring to what he needs to maximize his potential? Whatever's left.
No, I think whatever he was benched in the first game. We don't know if that was Allegri's decision or he requested it. There was the conflicting reports on that. But I just think regardless of whoever came in. I think he would have. I think he wanted to leave, and the fact that he waited so long, I can understand why Juve fans have been so angry at him because he's left them in a very precarious condition now. They've had to kind of panic buy Moise Kean and someone else. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he wanted to leave regardless who came in. He had Sarri first, and then Pirlo afterwards. This guy was like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah. It's interesting with. All the moves that have gone on. The summer's just been. I can't remember a summer this crazy with so many big names moving around, so many head coaches that have changed as well. You obviously got Inzaghi now at Inter, and Sarri and so on. There's so many names that have changed here. it seems though like Serie A has not skipped a beat so far. 3.6 goals average in the first week of the games. This weekend, I think it's somewhere around 3 goals a game average. Maybe even more now after the Roma and Milan games. It just, the league is continuously underrated. People were surprised that we were leading the league in goals last week. I'm like, where have you been the last 3 years? I mean, what do you think it's? So you hear the two stories. One is the league is just really good right now. A lot of talent in here. Obviously, the Italian talent is really big because they just won Euros. Mm-hmm. But a lot of talent in here. Or is it, the other side where people are saying, well, there's not that great defending, this and that. What are your thoughts on the reason for so many goals in the league the past, 2-3 seasons now?
Yeah, no, as you said, it's been 2 or 3 seasons now. Italy's Serie A has been the top scoring league, I believe, out of the top 5 leagues. So I think those stereotypes that people used to use before, like, Italian league is defensive, it's boring. I think it's not really true anymore. There are matches where you tune in and you're like, wow, why did I even choose to, spend 90 minutes of my life watching this? But most of the time nowadays, most of the coaches as well, they're very attacking, forward thinking. Most of the teams play out from the back. Yes, the defending quality is definitely not what it used to be as well. That does have a definitely an effect on it, and I think the newly promoted teams, as we've seen from the scorelines this week as well, the quality is just not quite there. So when the bigger teams play those newly promoted teams, the scorelines are pretty big. So it's a little bit of a mixture of things, but people definitely are underrating the league in terms of entertainment for sure. Now I think Serie A has become the most entertaining league for me in Europe.
And I think a big thing too is that it's still very much a tactical league, right? We've heard many players that come from other leagues coming in. They're like, I was surprised how tactical this league was. Even Lukaku, who did very well for you guys, he's even mentioned about that. Somebody joked when Ronaldo left that it was the defense was too difficult for him and he couldn't get his 30 goals a year, so that's why he left. Whatever it is, but it still has its roots in tactical and defense, but now it's more entertaining, like you said, and it's definitely fun for the neutral to watch. And let's get into the game this weekend. We'll run through the scorelines real quick and then start breaking into. We'll start off with your team, obviously, but we'll go from there. But let's look at all the scorelines this weekend. So first, Udinese 3-0 win against Venezia. Udinese looked very good on the counter in this game. Silvestri had a big save early on Janssen. Pusetto had a great goal off the chest in the 29th minute. Venezia they couldn't really do anything really in that first half and really all game long. Silvestri, did have to make a save in the 52nd minute, but we saw constant pressure from Udinese. Pusetto had a goal disallowed offsides, but then Deulofeu got his goal. Molina got a goal. 3-0 Udinese there. Was that a surprise for you how big that win was for Udinese?
No, once again, it's the lack of quality from Venezia is. I did in my Serie A predictions. I pointed out. I mean, they're everyone's new favorite team, Venezia. The beautiful kit, the marketing, the logo, everything is like so good. It's the hipster team right now, isn't it? It is.
It's everything but the quality on the pitch is working for them right now. I mean, everything else they're nailing 10 out of 10. So yeah, it's unfortunate they can't keep up at the moment, but. They haven't bought any Serie A quality as far as I know in terms of any Serie A players. They've gambled on a lot of Tana Testament from the MLS, Busio from the MLS. Nice interesting buys, but are they actually going to help you stay up? So I'm worried about them. How quickly are they going to go down this season? Unless I hope they prove me wrong, but I just don't see where any quality or goal are going to come from in their team, or even keep out the goals. Because the only other defender they brought in from Serie A was Caldara, but he's not really had the best few seasons, has he? No, not that bad. It hasn't been that good, really. Caldara came from Milan. Speaking of Milan, Hellas won. They lost 1-3 to your boys Inter. A strong start from Hellas, getting a goal early on. Obviously, it's the debut of your boy Joaquin Correa, came in off the bench. But early on, Handanovic, not so great. Bad pass to Brozovic, ended up being stolen. And then Ilic with a goal of the week candidate. Nice cheeky flick over the goalkeeper there. 1-0 there. You guys are down 1-0 at halftime. But, Inzaghi, with his motivation at halftime, I assume, comes right away. Dzeko, it was a nice set-piece play, which we're going to get to in a second because it was a throw-in. Dzeko flicks it on. Arturo Martinez right there. Boom, header. Gets a nice goal there. 10 minutes later, you guys did the same thing again, and you nearly scored. Martinez really should have put that one away. Should have been 2-1 at that point, but 1-1, you're still in the game. And I think, when in the 65th, when Vidal and DeMarco came in, it really changed the game for you guys. Because you saw, Correa also came in, 10 minutes later after that. Correa would get his first goal, 83rd minute through Darmian. Nice cross there, instant impact from him. And then 94th minute, Barella also getting an assist there to Correa. Correa, 2 goals in his debut there. You couldn't have been more excited to a great start for the new man, Inzaghi's boy. What were your thoughts on Correa's debut for this one?
Yeah, man, he dream debut. I mean, he couldn't have gone any better, and he showed why Inzaghi wanted him so bad. And I was pushing for Correa as well, because I was like, Inzaghi, you took Lukaku from him, you took Hakimi from him, all this turmoil around the club. Give him at least one guy that he wants, and he wanted Correa, and Tuku Correa showed why. Actually showed more than, this is more than he's ever shown before in terms of that. He hasn't scored a header actually since 2017. Even though he's almost as tall as me, he's like 187 centimeters.
Yeah, no, he's good height.
Yeah, but he hasn't scored a header since 2017. And that header, I mean, Hernan Crespo, Oliver Bierhoff, they would have been proud of that type of header, because that was not an easy header. Because Darmian, it was a good cross, but it was very floated. There was no power on it, and he just got the direction on it, got the power on it. But the second one, I really enjoyed that second one, because that one. It's just one of those goals that this team lacks, like just something out of nothing, just on the edge of the box, sweeps it onto his left foot, pow, into the bottom corner. Reminded me a bit of like Luis Muriel, there's just kind of those hits out of nothing. And that celebration, man, it's already iconic.
I knew you'd like that one. Yeah. No, that's a great debut for Joaquin Correa. We'll get more into Inter here in a little bit. You mentioned Luis Muriel. Atalanta were hosting Bologna. Atalanta didn't show up. Bologna, they played very well defensively, 0-0. We had some opportunities from, Atalanta, both from Malinovsky and Ilicic, and Skorupski coming up big against Gosens in the game. But nonetheless, Bologna played some great defense, I guess. 0-0, tough game, a game we thought maybe a lot of goals would come in, but Atalanta being held back 0. Are you shocked that Bologna could hold back Atalanta in the way that they did?
Yeah, because under Mihailovic, Bologna are far from a solid team. Last season they conceded, I think they were one of the worst teams in terms of goals conceded, and this season they started off really bad. In that Coppa Italia match where they conceded 5 against Ternana. 5,
yes. Oh my gosh,
that was such an awful start. And then last match they conceded 2. So you think, Atalanta, the top scoring teams from the past 2 seasons in Serie A, should be able to score a few past them, but they didn't. Yeah, it's 0-0, completely unexpected result. But yeah, Atalanta looking a little bit clunky at the start of the season. They didn't look great against Torino either.
No.
But usually under Gasperini, I know last year they started really well, but usually the kind of slow starters. So I'm not gonna, put any doubts over them yet, but it's not looking great at the moment for Atalanta.
It isn't. And a team that is looking great, maybe surprising a lot of people, certainly me. It's Lazio, 6-1 win over Spezia. Huge game by them. Goal scoring actually started in the 4th minute. Verdi, of all people, for Spezia, they take the lead 1-0. We're thinking, maybe here's another shot coming along, but just a minute later, Ciro Immobile, nice chip, similar to Illich, goal of the week candidate, just a minute later. And then in the 15th, Felipe Anderson, he finds Luis Alberto, who taps to Immobile. He gets his brace, 2 goals in 15 minutes. He would get a penalty opportunity to make it a hat trick. It gets saved, surprisingly, but off that corner kick, he gets a header of a goal. Got another guy who doesn't get many header goals. Immobile, a hat trick in the first half, 3-1. Goal scoring would not stop. Felipe Anderson in the 47th. There was a red card in the game. Adu in the 54th got a straight red. Do you think that was harsh, or do you think that was justified?
It looked a little bit harsh to me. But
I'm with you.
I can see why they gave it. It looked like he was last man, but it didn't look like a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I didn't think it was clear goal scoring opportunity like you said. I think they're fairly level, and I mean, I get it, I guess, but it's a harsh. Your team's already getting pummeled at that point.
Yeah,
that doesn't help at anything, right? So
poor Thiago Motta, man.
Yeah, poor Thiago Motta. He'd be the first one to go, I think.
I remember when you made the video of him for him a few, was it like last season or the season before? When he,
Anytime I make a video about somebody, they get fired. So, I should just stop. The curse, yes.
The Richard kiss of death.
That's right. So, speaking of kiss of death, 70th minute, Luis Alberto finds Husai. Husai gets a goal 2 games into his start for Lazio. And then in the 85th, to cap it all off, Luis Alberto gets his goal. 1 goal, 3 assists. Man of the match performance for you. I know Immobile had 3 goals, but Luis Alberto pulling strings all over the pitch here.
Yeah, man. I think he has to be MVP of the week, probably. 3 assists and a goal. That's So it's very impressive. And yeah, I think as the comments are saying, I think Luis Alberto on the Sarri is going to be something really interesting to watch. I mean, not as if he's not been great anyway, but
yeah, right.
I think he's gonna be really, really interesting.
No, and I think Immobile is going to strive under Sarri as well. People weren't sure if he was going to be able to adapt to the system. I mean, he's already got 4 goals ready to start the season. I mean, he's off to a flying start, so it's not phasing him one bit soever. And SMS is going to do his thing as well. So look for Felipe Anderson. I think is going to be a surprise signing for them. He's started out well. Can he keep it up all season long? To be determined, I guess. But it's a great start for Sarri's team nonetheless. Fiorentina 2-1 victories over Torino. Castrovilli finds new boy Nico Gonzalez. He gets his Serie A account open. 1-0 Fiorentina going into halftime. Coming out of the break, 69th minute, Duncan steals the ball, finds Bonaventura, who crosses to your boy Vlahovic, gets a nice heading goal, 2-0 at that point. Looks like they're going to run away with this. Verdi would get a consolation goal in the 89th minute, but nice victory for Fiorentina overall in this one. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't actually watch this match. I just watched the highlights. Fiorentina looking against Roma, even though they lost, they looked quite good. They looked better actually when they were in 10 men than when they were
it's
in.
It's funny how that happens, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually it's definitely one of the teams I'm going to look out for the most this season, Fiorentina under Italiano, because he did really, really well at Spezia last year, and the type of football that he wants to play, and it looks like they've finally got a project going now. Fiorentina, they've been kind of, they've had the interesting squad and interesting players, but they never seem to have the right coach. They always, end up with Iachini or Prandelli there. So it's always been like, I might tune in, but I'm not expecting much. But this year I'm gonna definitely tune in, and I know I can expect a good match and a lot of goals in the matches. And Vlahovic underway once again. I think he's gonna prove people who think he's a one-season wonder wrong.
Yeah, no, I think so, and he's hopefully he gets a lot of goals this year, because that's what you want to see. You want to see a guy that consistently scores goals and then makes a big move to a team and continues that, right? So we'll see. Hopefully he continues to trend upwards. Both Frank and I think we're riding high on Fiorentina this year. We think that they can even make that mid-table push. They've been struggling towards the bottom half of the table. They may not get Europa League spot or Conference League, whatever that new league's called, but they'll be in the mix for sure, I think. And if they finish top 10, I think that's a great season for them. So we're speaking of Fiorentina. Let's talk about their rivals, Juventus. Sans Cristiano Ronaldo. Like I said, when he left, people said, "Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal." Maybe it's a bigger deal than we thought. They lose 1-0 to Empoli. Empoli, they really put on the pressure in this one. Vicario, he came up big in this game. He had at least 2 saves, maybe 3 saves on Chiesa in this game. He had a bunch of other saves. Mancuso would get the goal scoring started, and the only goal really in the 21st minute. And you would think when Empoli scores that goal that they would maybe get on the back foot. No, they kept coming at Juventus. Juventus had their opportunities, but man of the match, in my opinion, Vicario, big save after big save. Empoli, big shock win over Juventus. On a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked were you with this result?
Yeah, I was actually quite shocked because in my Serie A fantasy team, I went quite Juve heavy because I thought, Ronaldo's left and they're gonna try prove that we don't need him, and they're gonna, Dybala's gonna he's gonna have the captain's armband. He's gonna step up and he's going to show that, we don't need the CR7. But no, So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say probably a 9. I was pretty damn shocked, but quite happy as an Inter fan seeing that unfold. But it's just unexpected in terms of, because it's Allegri, you'd expect it. Under Pirlo last season, I wouldn't have been shocked under Pirlo because they just looked disorganized. But the fact that they look so disorganized under Allegri, who is known for his, pragmatism and being organized, and it was quite shocking, like the way that, especially how some of the players were out of position. McKennie was playing as a CAM / left winger, like it was kind of a weird hybrid role.
Yeah.
There was Danilo playing as a regista. It was really, really odd. I mean, Allegri is known to do that in the past as well. I think as a Milan fan, like he used to play Urbi and Manuelson as a trequartista as well.
Don't remind me. Banter era. Well, we talk about how Juve lost their CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm going to get flack for this, but our Cristiano Ronaldo, Frank Ravello, is in the chat, and he says, I'm laying on the couch with an ice pack over my eye, watching you guys, making sure standards are maintained. Obviously, the standard's down now because I just called him Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry, Frank. Hope you're getting better there.
Frank Castielli, and now you're calling him Cristiano Ronaldo.
We're just dropping. This podcast is going out of control now. Moving on to today's games. Genoa hosting Napoli, and Napoli eke out a 2-1 victory. This is a game that Genoa hung tight all throughout the game. Fabian had a goal of the week candidate in the 40th minute. But Genoa continued to make it difficult for Napoli throughout the match. Goran Pandev would score a goal off a Meret blunder in the 54th, but VAR deemed it was a foul and no goal. Was that a goal for you?
Yeah, that looked pretty soft because he's the one who jumped into the guy. He's the one who need him. So yeah, keepers being overprotected once again.
Frank says, "Damn you!" Oh my God! Yes, we're Frankless tonight. I thought it's a tough call. I thought it was soft too. I think if the attacker had been attacking the ball, it would maybe counted. But I think because his back was turned, I don't know. It's a weak call nonetheless. But I think karma was on the side of Genoa because in the 69th minute, Andrea Cambiasso, the Genoa native, gets a goal, makes it 1-1, and we got a game on all of a sudden here. Looks like Genoa may be able to pull one off. The momentum was really swinging their way. Napoli kept trying. Koulibaly at one point tried to take the game over on his own, 79th. He came really close on a long-distance shot. It's funny because Interworldwide is in the chat right now, and he said, our friend Anthony said, hey, this is exactly what Spalletti did under Inter. They're going to get an 85th minute game winner from someone. And of course, it was Andrea Petagna, pies for everyone. The big man, before he makes his move to Sampdoria, scores against hated Genoa 2-1. Napoli, walk away with a win there. Luckily, there was it an impressive win or a win that you thought maybe was a little shaky for Spalletti's men?
No, yeah, it was a little bit shaky because it's the same as the Venezia win. I mean, it wasn't particularly convincing. No, but they were the better team on the day. Like, there's no doubts that they deserved the win, but it wasn't smooth or free flowing football. Obviously, they were missing Osimhen and Zielinski, so. It was a little bit expected, playing Insigne as a false nine. I don't think that's ever going to be his permanent position
no.
anywhere. But, this is Spalletti, though. He shouldn't expect, if it's going to be the Spalletti that we had at Inter, it was never free-flowing football at any point at Inter, but he seemed to get the job done. So as long as, he manages to get them into top four, I think Napoli fans will be over the moon.
That's going to be tricky this year. There's so many good teams so far, and then that's not even including Juventus, and so there's at least 5 good teams at the moment, possibly 6 or 7. So I mean, this is going to be a tough year, and if he gets them in the Champions League this year, that's going to be man of the year type work there for Spalletti. I mean, the team is obviously talented enough. It's can he get them over the edge? Obviously, it's an improvement from Gattuso, at least from on a paper. Yeah. Will it result in that? That's the main question. And as Hamza says, Fabian Ruiz and Politano really showed up today. They did. I thought they were both superb in their game, and a big reason why Napoli pulled this one out in this one. So nice one there. A game that's not so nice. Sassuolo Sampdoria finished 0-0. Pretty even game, really. You saw ebbs and flows of this game where one team would dominate over the other. Kept going back and forth. Some decent saves in this one. Ends 0-0. Not much to talk on that one, really, unless there's something you want to talk about real quick before we move on.
No, just Dionisi this season. I'm watching to see what difference does he bring to Sassuolo. It was the Derby, the Derby is quite highly rated. I quite like the Derby, and you see him doing already well at Shakhtar. But you want to see how much did he actually bring. If Dionisi can manage to do a similar job. It probably was just a squad more than the Derby, but yeah, it seems like he's bringing a similar type of football because they I looked at the stats and they had 65% possession over Sampdoria. So I think he's still trying to maintain that possession-based football. So interesting team to watch. And I was disappointed to see Boga not involved in any goal scoring.
I know. And Hamza says, Sassuolo missed so many chances. They did. I think Sampdoria did too. I think Sampdoria looks very good so far with De Versa. Surprising for me. I wasn't sure how he would fit under Sampdoria. They've obviously struggled. Not under Ranieri, but previously they were up and down. But it's a great start for Sampdoria. They made a tough loss to Milan the week before, and this game they played a Sassuolo team that's very entertaining last year. They played them very tough, had their opportunities. Sampdoria, I think, has a chance to make some waves this year. I think surprising a lot of folks. Frank says, thanks for the spotted cow reference. So there you go. He's forgiven me for the CR7 comment there, so thank you, Frank. All right. Let's get into Salernitana Roma. 4-0 Roma. Just walk away. Victors. 21st minute. Mkhitaryan. He nearly found Abraham. Abraham nearly got his goal scoring account open for Roma, but it would have to wait. First half, Salernitana really parking the bus. Very Mourinho-esque, right? Really not letting Roma get anything going. But halftime came. Mourinho must have said something. Sparked the boys because right out of the gate, Pellegrini got a goal. Nice goal. Right, like 2 minutes into the second half. 52nd minute, Veretout, nice team goal of the week candidate there by them. 69th, Tammy Abraham gets his goal, wonderfully taken there, another goal of the week candidate, and then 79th, Veretout wrapping it up, 4-0 victory, Roma. Salernitana, same thing like Venezia. The new boys are struggling, and Roma has been clinical in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, as you said, they parked the bus literally, like they parked the whole stadium because it was 85% possession for Roma in the first half. So it just shows like what we're talking about in terms of the lack of quality from these newly promoted teams. I mean, Empoli, credit to them. I think Andrea Zoli is going to prove to be the difference between them and the other promoted teams. I think just the quality of his coaching, last time around.
Yeah.
He almost got, I don't want to talk about that match against Inter because it still brings me PTSD. But, everyone knows that Empoli team with the ones with Krunic, Benacer, Caputo, Di Lorenzo. It was quite a talented Empoli team, and they played some nice football, and they almost stayed up. I don't see Empoli having that same talent this time around, but I think his coaching, is going to get them extra points like they got against Juve. Whereas today, Castori, the Salernitana coach, he just tried to play anti-football. He just tried to stop
did not
Roma
work.
from playing. And then, it didn't even work. So in the end, he conceded 4 goals. So there's not much you can do when you've got Bonazzoli up front. They've tried to bring in Simi, but again,
too late.
It's too late. You need quality in midfield, and you need to get the ball to these guys. You need the defenders to be better as well. Like you can't just bring in a striker hoping he's gonna save you. Not very impressed by Salernitana at all. So I hope they do better in the coming weeks. But Roma, some of the goals today, as you said, it's really, really nice. Like the team play, that Veretout one, the first one, that was so good.
Yeah.
Tammy's really impressing, man. He's doing really good. Like I expected him to do well, just because the physicality that usually these Premier League players bring to Serie A usually is like almost guaranteed success, as we've seen with some of the boys Conte brought in for Inter. Very impressive, and Roma, looking good, man. They're looking that goal reminded me of sorry, Richard, but the goal in the 4-0 derby that Inter won against the AC Milan under Mourinho.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, the Thiago Motta goal, the free-flowing move.
Yeah.
So,
it was definitely shades of that for sure. That was a beautiful play, and Roma. We'll see how all these big boys do when they play other big boys. But Roma. Very clinical today, very much on fire, as United Biggie says, hey, Lisi's in the house. He said, hey, boys, just checking in to say hi. Hey, how you doing? Let's see. So moving on to the last game of the roundup, Milan hosting Cagliari. This is a game that maybe Cagliari should have played defensively, kind of like Salernitana, because whatever they tried didn't work either. 8th minute, Giroud would set up Leao. His shot would block last minute, and it looked like maybe Cagliari is going to be into this game. 10th minute, Godin, he would take down Salamakers. That proved important because that led to a free kick, and Sandro Tonali, he's known for his free kicks. Hasn't got his opportunities in Milan, but he paid off a goal of the week candidate in this one. Beautiful goal there taken. That lead didn't last that long. 15th minute, Deola gets an equalizer off a wonderful pass by João Pedro. Found him brilliantly, got the header past the goalkeeper. 1-1, we got a game. 2 minutes later, score changed. Leao shoots it, deflects off Brahim Diaz. 2-1. Goals is coming left and right. Just 7 minutes later, in the 24th, Diaz finds Giroud with a beautiful goal past the keeper. Goal of the week candidate there. And then to round things out for Milan in the 41st, Strootman gets a handball in the box. The penalty leads to Giroud getting his brace. 4-1. Milan kind of took the gas off the pedal in that second half, but they 4-1 victory. Big victory for them. They look like they're very much in the mood this season to play with some of the other teams that are Scudetto contenders.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Milan, they just keep going, man. On paper, whenever I look at the Milan team, it doesn't look great. But then, shouts out to Pioli, man. He just keeps this Milan train just keeps going on and on. Like it's very impressive what he's doing with this team. Very, limited budget, limited wage budget as well. Like it's just very impressive what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brahim Diaz looks like he's taken on that 10 role really well from Hakan.
Yeah,
the comment. All of a sudden, the free kicks are starting to go in. I mean, the keeper should have saved that free kick, and I think I saw apparently that free kick should have been called off because the Milan players weren't 2 yards from the wall, so technically it shouldn't have stood. That's why João Pedro was so mad. But apart from that, they were killing Cagliari. Like Godin had to make some goal line clearances.
Very strong performance from Milan. So let's get a little bit deeper in some of these games. Obviously, let's start with Inter. You guys went down early. Goal scored early for Hellas. It put you on the back foot. Were you at all worried going into halftime? Seemed like Hellas, a team with coached by EDF, you wouldn't expect to make a lot of waves this season on the way EDF has managed the last several teams that he's played with or managed. But down 1-0 at halftime, you had to be a little bit worried there that your team wasn't playing the way it should have been, at least the way you expected going into this game.
Yeah, I was surprised by Hellas in terms of I expected, the different Francesco attacks to hit. I didn't expect them to be that good, but it seemed like we were playing Juric's Verona. To be honest, they were the exact same formation, same style, very aggressive, very physical. They didn't let us play. They were like man for man marking, pressing really well, and yeah, they got the goal of really good pressing. Well, they got the goal of Handanovic being, very. Yeah, just being Handanovic, but I wasn't phased though, because at halftime I was pretty confident. That's the thing now.
Yeah,
we've lost Lukaku, we lost Hakimi, but we've actually added a lot of depth to this team. We've added, there's 2 or 3 options for each position, and yeah, as you said earlier, bringing on Correa, you can bring on, Sensi, you can bring on Vidal. You can bring there's so many different options you can bring off the bench. And Inzaghi, unlike Conte, is happy to actually sub people, because with Conte we knew this guy, he would wait until the 70th, 75th minute to make the exact same subs, which would be he would just change the wing backs and that's it. He'd continue doing the same exact thing. But with Inzaghi, he changed the formation, he changed players. He's not scared, he's not phased to do that. So yeah, I had confidence, but I wasn't expecting that kind of impact from Tuku.
So let's talk about 2 players. First, let's talk about Handanovic. Obviously, he's done fabulous things through his career for Inter, but it's probably time to move on. I know you guys brought in Alex Cordaz. He's not really necessarily the answer, and I mean, maybe you think he is. I don't know. What do you think Inter try to make a move for a goalkeeper here at the end of the window? There's still time. What are your thoughts on Handanovic? Can he be the keeper? Obviously, you guys won last year, but is it time to try to find someone to replace him, or what are your thoughts on Handanovic?
Yeah, we have to, bro. It's time. It's time for him to go. It's Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. He says, "Time to go." But it was even last season. I mean, I know last year he got the most clean sheets, but
yeah,
I would say that's more thanks to the defense rather than himself.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
And there was a few matches where we he conceded some really silly goals, very poor goals, where you just see like it's a physical decline as well. Usually keepers manage to maintain their peak is a lot longer than most outfield players. But with Handanovic, it seems to be a drop in, reaction time and reflexes. I mean, he was always known to be, doing that mannequin challenge type thing where he just watches, the ball go past.
Yep.
But it's getting quite bad now. And now this last mistake against Verona, this was the one thing that he's actually really good at now, which he improved over the years, which is with his feet. He's really good with his feet now. But yeah, that was just a very silly mistake. So we can, that's a passing mistake, so we can let him off for that. But in general, I'm still not very confident to have him for a whole season. But I know it's been proven that Inter clearly don't think this is a priority. They've made no attempt last season. They've made no attempt this season to address the issue. Apparently, we're just waiting maybe to get Onana from Ajax on a free next year when he's available. The budget option, which isn't bad to be fair. It's quite smart.
It's a good signing. I like him. I've always liked him. So yeah.
But yeah, Radu last year he didn't even get a look in from Conte. So clearly, either the coaching staff didn't think, the goalkeeper coach maybe didn't think he was good enough, or Conte himself just didn't rate him. Cordaz, yes, he was the number one for Crotone last year, but they conceded a back ton of goals, and he's like 37, 38 as well. So I don't think either of those are an answer. But I just want, what Inzaghi did at Lazio, where he interchanged Reina and Strakosha quite a bit. Gattuso did that with the Meret and Ospina a lot. I just feel like Handanovic shouldn't be, just undisputed number one. He should feel like his place is challenged in the team. That's all I feel like I think he needs. I think that would maybe help him improve his performances as well if he feels like, he's pushed. But he's the captain as well, so I think that makes it trickier to take him out of the team as well.
It is, but I mean, if Inter can learn anything from their rivals, is that they deal with Romagnoli and they try to get the best out of him, and eventually Tomori just took over. So, not to say that Cordaz is going to take over for Handanovic, but I agree with you. Give him a little bit of a challenge. Hopefully, it sharpens his blade, gets his senses back. But it may have the opposite effect, so it's hard to tell what Inzaghi is going to do with that. And then, speaking of Inzaghi, his boy Correa, great pickup by you guys. Obviously, my preseason predictions are going to change once the transfer window ends, but this is a great benefit for you guys having Joaquin Correa. Where do you see him lining up? I mean, obviously, Lautaro Martinez and him, they kind of swap positions in this game, but do you see them playing like a Lukaku role, coming in next to Martinez, or how do you see them fit this season?
Yeah, no, he's going to be second striker. I think he said it himself, like that's where he's best, roaming around behind the main guy. He can play as number 9. I think he played at the end of that match because Sensi came on and it was like Sensi behind him. But even though he's got the height and kind of, you'd think the build is kind of made, he should be okay as a striker, but he's just not that type of guy. So he needs to be the guy, going wide, coming in deep to pick up the ball, to link up. He's going to be what Alexis Sanchez was, I think, to the team.
Yes.
I think he's got that, more directness, more pace. Sanchez used to have that, but Correa's got that. He's a smooth dribbler. He shoots from range. He's, very creative. He goes past people, which is something we haven't had for a long time in this team. A dribbler. We were ranked, I think, 19th last season in Serie A for dribbles completed. So we definitely needed someone like that takes, some risks and things like that. So yeah, I think he's going to be that kind of. I think he's going to play like the Sanchez role. So I can see him coming on as a substitute quite a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting take. And if anyone's going to know how to bring the best out of him, it's going to be Inzaghi, right? Who's seen him for the last several seasons. When he did so well at Lazio, it's because he played second striker to Immobile. So maybe if he plays off of Martinez or whomever like that, like Alexis Sanchez type of role, I can see him thriving. He does so many things that you guys were desperately needing, and obviously now he can head the ball in the goal. So that's great there for you guys there. Transfer window's wrapping up. Obviously, there's some big names that people are still talking about. Cenk FC says, do you guys think Insigne will leave Napoli on a free? Hard to say about that, but you guys, is there any needs that you think they're going to come in here at the end of the window? Obviously, you said goalkeeper is not going to be one of them. You wouldn't imagine a striker would come in there, but what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, the Insigne thing is it's very difficult to see. He's born and bred in Napoli. He's Napoli through and through. I don't really see that happening. But for Inter, I don't really see a particular need, for someone else to come in. Yeah, the keeper position really is, the I think the big need in the team. Perhaps the backups to the centre backs, because left centre back we've kind of got we've got Kolarov, but Di Marco can also play there. And then we've got Ranocchia as the backup to De Vrij, D'Ambrosio as their backup to the right centre back. But again, I don't think it's a particularly pressing need, so I'm not really sure about that one.
Okay. All right, so you guys are off to a flying start. Another team that's off to a flying start, Lazio. Sarri ball is cooking right now. Of all the new changes, I thought Sarri ball would take the longest to adapt, to get up to speed. We saw Sarri ball, or the attempt at Sarri ball at Juventus, and it took about half a season to even get anything close to that. But through 2 games, they're cooking at the moment, as to use your words, your phrase. Lazio getting lots of goals already, and they're playing Sarri ball. What can you explain about this? That Lazio's adapted so quickly to the style of play that their manager wants.
Yeah, that's the thing with Sarri ball. It's really good when you can take it to a team where it's not full of egos, it's not full of superstars. It's not like the Juventus team, even the Chelsea team. At points, they did okay overall, but it definitely wasn't the Napoli, the Sarri ball that we saw at Napoli.
No, for sure.
So here at Lazio, as you said, for 2 match days, and you can already see the stamp of Sarri, because the players clearly have bought into it, because they're coming off decent finishes in the league, but last year they finished 6th last year.
Yeah.
So they're not superstars. There's some really good players in there, like Immobile, Milinkovic-Savic, but there's no real superstars, massive egos. They're all humble players that willing to learn this new system, and they clearly have. They all look like they've been playing this for a while already. Some of the mechanisms, some of the movements, that goal they scored last week, that Lazzari goal where Milinkovic-Savic, there was that
beautiful
kind of
pass.
1-2, beautiful. And today, Luis Alberto didn't start the last match because there was supposed to be some sort of disagreement between him and Sarri. But yeah, he's if he can integrate Luis Alberto, we know Sarri wants to place each position has got a very certain role that you can replicate at almost every team. The Hamsik position, the Alan position, the Jorginho position. So it looks like Luis Alberto could be the Hamsik, the goal scoring, assisting midfielder.
Yes.
We'll have to see if Lucas can play that Jorginho role over a lengthy period. I don't really see that happening, because he gets injured quite a lot. I don't think he can last 90 minutes for 38 games as well. So
yeah, I don't think so too either.
And in the transfer market, we know how Lotito is. Will he back him? But there's talk if they get it, Zakanian or Filip Kostic, they're talking about. Yeah. They've added Felipe Anderson, they've added Pedro now, who looks like he's already fitting really, really well. Pedro, he surprised me as well. And as you said, Immobile is firing already. So yeah, this Lazio team could really, could do really well to challenge for that top 4 spot, which I think is their aim.
Yeah, I think they were certainly a team that I thought was going to be challenging for the top 4, but I thought it would take so long to get to this playing of the free flowing style that Sarri wants. They would be like one of the teams that are coming in from the back and playing catch up, but they're off to a flying start. And Frank and I were talking about preseason was that if any team can get off to a flying start before Juventus and Inter start cooking, that you have the best chance of making a top 4. Milan needs to get off hot, Atalanta as well, and so Lazio off to a great start so far, and that's it bodes well. I'm curious to see how the season goes. I agree. I don't think Lucas Leiva is going to be the answer in that Jorginho role. Who do they bring in? Can they bring in someone? I've heard lots of rumors, like you said, about Filip Kostic. And I
wanted him at Inter for such a long time.
Kostic. He's a good player. He's been a good player for a long time, and massively underrated, I think. Of a player. Let's get to the big elephant in the room. Juventus, all right? They struggled mightily in this game, obviously to the joy of both of us, I think, and many people probably in the chat. But yeah, Juventus did not do. I mean, the midfield seems to be the issue, I think, in that team. I think the attacking talent they have is good, more than good enough. Defense is probably good enough as well, but at the midfield, it's just lacking at the moment. Yes, they got Locatelli recently. Bentancur played well the first game, not so much the second. What do you attribute as the big issue there? I mean, they can't be as bad as they've looked, at least in the last game, can they?
No, they can't be. But yeah, the midfield has been a problem for them for years now. Even when they used to win the Scudetto, the midfield was always kind of the the issue. Even in the golden times, it was Matuidi, Khedira, Pjanic, which wasn't particularly a stellar midfield even then, but it just got the job done. But now, it just seems like that, as we mentioned earlier, it's more the confusion. It seemed like Dybala was playing this free roaming role, but we know he just likes to drift out onto the right hand side because he just likes to cut in from with his left foot. And then McKennie didn't look like he knew where he needed to be. Chiesa was kind of all over the place as well. He was just kind of doing dribbling himself, which he was great at. He was one of the shining lights in that match. But those are kind of individual moments. They're not collective moments. Collectively, they just look very confused. Danilo playing at Regista, is that's, I think that's endemic of the midfield problem, that they're having to play a guy who's a right back at centre defensive mid. So it's really confusing. And then defensively as well, Bonucci, Chiellini, they had an amazing Euro. Those two.
They gotta be tired. They gotta be tired.
Yeah, at some point, we know Chiellini's, his injury record has been really bad over the last few years anyway. Bonucci, De Ligt doesn't seem like it doesn't seem to be that great of a partnership, because they're both, they're both right-footed. They both like to get on the ball as well. And then you got, Alexandra's had a pretty big dip. A few years ago, this guy was probably like top, the best left back. And now he's pretty average most of the time when I watch him. And then even Szczesny, he's been undisputed number one. He's been struggling. Last match, Juve fans were even calling for Correa to play. So there's a lot of question marks for them.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought, many people thought that the defensive answer would have been De Ligt and Demirel. Obviously, Demirel's gone to Atalanta now, and so that's not going to happen. Obviously, midfield is going to be an issue, but are they going to look for bringing in some either depth in the midfield? We're not sure because they just brought in Locatelli. Are they going to bring in some defensive help? Is there someone in their system that they think maybe is the answer? De Ligt is obviously going to be the guy. He's very much worth the money. But like you mentioned, Bonucci and Chiellini are getting up there in age. They're got to be tired from the past Euros. It's going to take them at least a few months to get back up to speed to where they expect them to be. So it might be a little struggle here. But you would imagine with Allegri, he'll figure out a way. What I've noticed, at least with Allegri so far, is that they're more direct so far playing. Obviously, in the first game against Udinese, they look really fantastic, especially that first half. But looked like offensively they had they're creating more opportunities than maybe Allegri would in the past. And you'd imagine he figured things out defensively, and that they're not going to give up so many goals. Yeah, one goal is nothing, but when you don't score a goal, it's a lot. So I imagine Allegri's going to figure this out very quickly. I don't expect Juve to be out of the European picture altogether. That's not going to happen. But, the way these teams are stacked up at the top, if they don't get their shit together basically here in the next, couple weeks, they could be chasing, and it's going to be hard to, try to catch 5 teams, let alone one team. So
What do you make of the going from Cristiano Ronaldo to Moise Kean?
Obviously, Cristiano is a fantastic player, all-time great. But Moise Kean, I've always been a big fan of Moise Kean, and he thrived in PSG in the right situations. Maybe not so much at Everton, but I think in the right situation, if you let Dybala pull the strings on the team and you set up Moise Kean, I think it could be very successful. Can he pair with Morata? I would love to see Morata and Kane with Dybala behind them. Now, where does that leave Kulusevski and some of the other people? That's hard to tell. But I think Moise Kean has certainly got the talent. I would love to see him back with the Azzurri mix. So I think he does have that possibility of doing well there. Morata's going to get his goals. Dybala's going to get his, I think, now under Allegri. The question is, can you make him fit? That's the big thing. I think the talent's there 100%. But where does Allegri line him up? That's going to be the key. If you looked at his formations, how he's lined people up, what are your thoughts on Moise Kean and possibility of him fitting or not fitting at Juventus?
Yeah, no, he's the future for Italy. We know there's not much talent in that number 9 position. So there is, after Immobile, it's up for grabs. So I think Moise Kean's got the talent to take it, but there's always been question marks on his attitude. I think that was one of the reasons why Mancini left him out for Raspadori, which was quite a surprising move in the summer. He's left him out in previous squads as well, him and Zaniolo, for behavioural issues. At Everton, I heard similar issues as well. He got sent off actually a few days ago for Everton in the EFL Cup, in the Carabao Cup. But I think it seems like Allegri is the one who's kind of got the best out of him when he was at Juve before. So maybe
Yeah.
he knows how to pull his strings a little bit like Mancini with Balotelli did.
There you go. There you go.
No, I expect good things from Moise Kean, but he can't be the replacement for Cristiano. They must they have to bring someone else in. Surely they can't put the burden of the goal scoring on Moise Kean.
One of the comments, I don't know if I agree with 100%, or maybe you do. One of the comments was, is Juve going to make it out of the Champions League group? I highly doubt it. So their group is Chelsea, Malmo, and Zenit St. Petersburg. Obviously, Chelsea is going to be a difficult ask, the reigning European champions. But Malmo, the Swedish champs, and Zenit, who have had great teams in the past, and maybe they're a mixed bag right now. I don't know. I think that group is a fairly straight up one. I think Juventus, if they get their shit together, which I think they will, they should make it out of this group. Maybe they won't win it, but I think they'll come out second. Do you think they're going to have a difficult time coming out of their group?
No, I think I think they should be able to. Even last year, I mean, they weren't great under Pirlo either, and they got out of the group pretty easily. So I expect them to get out of that group. Yeah, I don't know much about the Zenit team, so I can't really say. Because ever since like Hulk left them, I kind of lost track of like who's at Zenit and things like that. I think Axel Witsel was there as well for a little bit, and then he left as well. So I don't really know who's there, but I imagine that they should be okay. And with Allegri, the thing we always have to remember is his Juve teams usually really start to pick up things after December, January, February. These guys really start to pick things up.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be too reactionary with the Juventus here, especially when they have Allegri as their coach.
I agree. I think he'll calm the waters, and it won't be a disaster class as many people think that is going to happen. There's some difficult groups in Champions League, which we'll get to here in a minute. But let's see. I mean, where do you want to talk? You want to talk Napoli, Roma, Milan? Where do you want to go?
So let's talk about your boys.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Yeah. Obviously, very impressed with the way they came out in this game. Cagliari's always been a thorn in our sides, and last year they held us tight and made us sweat to the last game against Atalanta. And so that at least Milanisti fans, I should say, wanted to get revenge on Cagliari. I don't think that was a bigger picture, but I think what you mentioned earlier, Pioli, he's starting to find his groove now with this team. I said with Frank a long time ago that every manager finds their team, that it's just a special team. They always do well. And it seems like maybe Pioli's found that with Milan after many years being a mid-table manager. I like what they got going on. The pickups they had this summer, I'm very high on. Not many people are as high as I am on Milan. Giroud is fantastic. 2 goals already in this one. He's going to be perfect. I think they're going to have an issue when Zlatan comes back, especially if Giroud is getting his goals. What do you do then, right? Zlatan's going to get on the team. Can they both play at the same time? They're both fairly similar in what they can do. Obviously, they're both acrobatic as well. I mean, they're very similar. They're both fantastic players. Seeing Diaz playing the way he's come out so far with Çalhanoğlu gone, Tonali getting an opportunity to impress when Benacer and Kessié not there. Leao, the big question mark with him, is he going to be another Niang? Is he going to have a great year? Who knows? What I've seen so far, I've been very high on. And now we're looking at the Sampdoria, how they played against Sassuolo today. Maybe that victory against them was a better one than we thought initially. So I'm high on them. What are your thoughts seeing your cousins doing so well, at least in this week?
Yeah, I'll keep at the start of the season. I always underrated them. Last year, I thought. I think originally I had them in top 4, and then after the Mercato, I updated it to them finishing 5th. And proved me wrong. And now this year, before the Mercato, I've put them 5th, but I think I'm going to update them to finish in the top 4 now, because it's just, I feel like it's the Pioli thing where in my mind, I don't rate him out of the top 7 coaches. I think you agree. I would say he's the worst out of all the top 7 coaches.
Yeah.
But he's, as you said, he seems to have found a groove with this team. And even guys like Krunic, shouts out to him, because I look like him today with my trim and the black socks, black shoes combo as well. He's looking really good out there. You put him, CAM, you put him left wing, you put him, defensive mid as he did today. This guy just balls out where you put him. And when I look at the team on paper, Salamakers, Krunic,
he balled out today. Salamakers played very well today. He's underrated. He doesn't get the goals, but he got the technical ability, I think. What we saw today.
But as in when you see the team on paper, you look at it and you're compare it to the team and you're but he just get the job done on the pitch. And Tonali this year is the Sandro Tonali we're expecting him to step up, and he already has. These last 2 games he was decent against Sampdoria, but today I didn't watch the whole match, but he looked pretty good again out there today, and obviously he got his goal as well. So with Kessie and Benaseg on, and the AFCON as well in January, I think that's going to be a big month for you guys when the Champions League matches start coming in.
Yeah, he and Krunic are going to have to play big when those two are gone for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Bakayoko coming in as well now, which is going to be big addition as well. So he's going to be kind of, I guess, the backups of those 2 guys as well. So it's going to be so tight up there. Like, it's so hard to call.
It's going to be a game of fractions. Little mistakes here and there, losing a point when you should have got 3. It's going to be big, I think, in this one. For some reason, every manager has their player, which they always put out there where you're like, what the heck are you doing? For Milan and Pioli, it's Krunic. For whatever reason, he gets the job done. But, I mean, you can ask any Milan fan, they're like, why is Krunic still playing? When Kessie and Benasser are injured, okay, that makes sense. But when they're healthy, you're like, why is he want to get pitch time? I don't know. So, but that was standing. You mentioned Bakayoko coming in. I think the big news now with Milan is Kessie. Are they going to keep him? Are they going to pay what he wants? He's asking like $8.5 million a year. The trend tells you with Maldini and company that they're not going to pay that. I think he's a bit every worth of what he's asking for. Same thing with Donnarumma.
He's coming to us.
He might. I mean, he might. And question is, will they sell him? Will they leave him on a free? You would imagine they'd sell him before they let him go on a free again. But especially if it's going to be to our rivals. That's the big elephant in the room. I think if they do lose him in this Mercato, I would question where I put them in a top 5, top 6. I had them obviously winning the Scudetto, preseason pick. Obviously, not that Mercato is not done yet, but they sell him in this window. I might be looking a little differently because Kessie is a monster. Him and Benasser are just so special together. They're 2 of the better midfielder combinations in the league. There's obviously several. Your team obviously has 3 fantastic midfielders, but I think you lose Kessie, it puts a big dent. Bakayoko played well with Milan, had his moments under Napoli, but I don't think he's the same player as Kessie is. And so that would hurt their Scudetto chances significantly if he goes. Do you think he goes?
Yeah, I think he goes for free next year because those wages that he's asking for is just, you guys are just not budging from outside that budget. You guys have a very strict budget, and I don't think you're going to step out of those. And I think he deserves the money he's asking for as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, I agree 100% about that. Someone who's earning their budget or earning their wage, Jose Mourinho. It's another manager. Him and Sadi, I thought were going to take a smooth segue, right? There you go. I've done a little bit. I thought both Sadi and Mourinho would take the longest to adapt to the new teams, but obviously I was dead wrong. Both managers seem to be doing really well so far. Roma, like Lazio, they were already a good product, right? I thought, Roma's midfield was highly underrated last year. The midfield that they have is very talented. It's the strikers that they had, question marks about, and especially the defense. You knew Mourinho coming in, and you had the experience of Mourinho in the past. Their defense is pretty good. He's going to clean that up. And the question is, what are they going to do with the strikers? Obviously, Dzeko goes to Inter, and we were wondering what's going to happen. Is it going to be Mayoral? Who's going to be leading the way? Tammy Abraham comes in. Like you mentioned, he's been nothing but special so far. He's having probably more of an impact, or just an equally as big of an impact as Osimhen had last year when he joined Napoli. Roma's coming out to a flying start. They got that midfield already. Now they got a striker who is hungry. The defense looks shored up. They may be more dangerous than people thought originally, including myself. Obviously, many people said it's going to either be really fantastic or a dud. They're looking more like fantastic at the moment. What are your thoughts on Roma?
Yeah, no, they're looking really good at the moment, but let's all calm down.
It's early. It's early.
Like last year under Fonseca, they were in the top 2 or 3, I think, for a while. I think for 7-8 match days, I think they were right up there. But that's when when the European games start coming in, or I guess Conference League games, so that start coming in. Injuries start piling up. The teams kind of figure out their style of play. Their things start to change, and then that's when you find out the real worth of the team. But yeah, how we was talking about those sorry positions. How he has his Hamsik, his Jorginho. With Mourinho, looks like Pellegrini is going to be his Lampard.
Yep.
Tammy's going to be his Drogba.
Yeah.
Vertu.
Got the celebration too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Vertu looks like he's going to be like his Stankovic or something. Like it's you know, he's cooking already, Jose. Yeah, and he looks like he's enjoying his time in Rome. Like he looks like he's really, you know, absorbed into the, you know, the Romanismo. The Roma fans seem to love him, but as Spurs fans will tell you, as Man United fans will tell you, it always is like this at the beginning, and then, you know, we'll see how, if he can keep it up. But I think he's much better suited to the Serie A. I've talked about this before with on my channel with the Spurs fan. He came on to talk and he said, I think, you know, he shouldn't. I don't think Mourinho's a Premier League type manager anymore. I think he should stick to, like, you know, the other continental teams, and I think Serie A will suit him, and I think he'll do well. I think Roma will improve from last season, and I think they will finish 6th or 5th. I think. Yeah,
I think they'll certainly improve than last year. You know, I think the big piece in this team is Mkhitaryan. He's getting older, but he's such a fantastic player, and he really brings that from the ball from the defense to the attack, and he's just so fluid, and he's got the speed still for his age. I think they go as far as Mkhitaryan takes them. I think obviously Abraham can get his, and that midfield with Vertu and the other guys, they're going to do well. But I think as long as Mkhitaryan keeps playing well, I think that the team will go far.
Nutmeg pass from him today, nutmeg assist.
I know you're keeping track of that. Your nutmeg counts there, so I know you like to see that. But it's still early on. All these teams, while some are doing well, some are not doing so well. It's still early. You know, Frank and I always talk about we wait at least 10 games before we start to decide on how the season's going to go, because it's too early to tell. Some teams are thriving coming off preseason, others a little bit slower to start. You know, we get a good sense of where these teams are about 10, 15 games into the season. So long way to go. Still, we want to pump the brakes on a lot of these things. And then let's round this out. Let's Serie A talk with Napoli. A team that many people thought could be not only challenging for Champions League, but maybe even Scudetto with the talent that they have. They thought maybe, you know, Gattuso was holding them back. They have a fantastic, fluid team, strong defense, you know, good goalkeepers. Midfield is obviously very strong, and then the attack with the three midgets there with Osimhen up top. They're fantastic to watch, and they play beautiful football. Obviously, no Osimhen today because of the silly red card he had last week. Thoughts on Spalletti, and can he take Napoli to that next level or even beyond?
Yeah, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm a Spalletti fan. I mean, the guy has the best collection of gifts any coach out there in the world has. Like, whoever's like made that collection for him deserves a
wasn't you?
Shout-out. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. That team is like perfectly suited to him, as you said. That they're custom made for the 4-2-3-1 that he plays. And Osimhen, I think everyone keeps saying it, but it should be his year now. You know, it should be his explosion under Spalletti. But I disagree with the goalkeepers. I've never been too much of a fan of Meret, and I think we saw today he's a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, you know, Ancelotti and Gattuso both, you know, kind of. Overall, I think in the league they seem to prefer Ospina. I think, you know, on balance, when you look at the amount of appearances, I think, even though they switched in between quite a lot, so I think that's definitely a position that they could improve. And then, Mario Rui has always been a big weakness for them. I think every Napoli fan will tell you that left back position.
Will they get Emerson? Will they not? I think getting Emerson would be, or any new left back would be an improvement.
He's gone to Lyon.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, you're right. I did see that this week. That is true. That did happen. So. Yeah, that's.
They brought in Juan Jesus.
Well, there you go. There goes their chance.
So it just seems like they haven't got money, or they haven't backed Spalletti since he's come in. I don't really see them challenging for the Scudetto, as some people are saying. But I think they should have top 4 nailed down. I think that's just what Spalletti does best.
Yeah, that is true. Wherever he goes, he seems to get the best of his players, at least get to that Champions League level. I think, you know, if they can, you know, before the window ends here, if they can get a left back somehow and maybe like address the goalkeeper situation like you mentioned, that'll
I don't think it's like, you know, a pressing issue.
No.
I'm saying it's
I think left back though is more pressing than anything
definitely.
Else. Because I think, you know, keeping Fabian's important. Many people thought he was going to leave, possibly to Spain, and, you know, obviously you see the goal that he had today. It was really beautifully taken. They need someone like him to stay around. They got some good pieces there in the midfield.
And Lobotka he's like a new signing for them, because you know, he was a pretty big flop for them. And Spalletti, he used to like him when he was at Inter. We were linked with him because apparently Spalletti liked him back then. So yeah, and we've seen the first 2 games he's been pretty decent. Nothing, outstanding, but yeah, I picked him as my player to watch for Napoli this season just for that reason.
Elmas is another one though who is going to be a really good player. He's had 2 really fantastic games, I think, so far, and he's been a player that's on the radar for many people for a while, and we'll see if he can continue this progression throughout the season, because I think with those 2 players, that just adds to their fire there and makes them that much more dangerous. So we'll see where they're going to go. I think I'm in agreement with you. They're going to make Champions League this year at minimum. So let's see how they do. We talked about Champions League. Let's look at the group stages real quick for all the Serie A teams. And there's some deadly groups in this one first.
Yeah, there's multiple groups of death.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of one, the first one I'm going to talk about is Milan. They're in the group with Atletico Madrid, Porto, and Liverpool. 3 very good teams there. That's a difficult group. I already said they're going to be out. If they make it past the group stages, that's a victory in itself. Let's see. Inter, your boys got Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff Tiraspol. You got 3 good teams there. The team I can't pronounce. Let's keep continuing there for the rest of the series. Atalanta, they got Man United, Villarreal, and Young Boys. That's a pretty good, strong group there. And then we obviously mentioned Juventus with Chelsea, Malmo, and Zenit St. Petersburg. We already talked about Juventus. Atalanta, let's talk about Atalanta. Man United, it's going to be a difficult game. Obviously now Cristiano Ronaldo, they've been strong for a while now. Villarreal is no slouch as well. And then you got Young Boys. Thoughts on Atalanta and their chances of at least getting out of the group stage?
I think they've proven over the last few seasons that they're kind of the most European team because they've done best.
They have the depth. They got the depth.
Yeah, they're not a surprise anymore. They're a certainty now, Atalanta. So we can't call them this kind of up and coming hipster team anymore.
No, that's Venezia now.
Yeah, that's Venezia. But I think they should be okay to finish second in that group. I think Villarreal, they had a great season last year, but in the Europa League, and I think Unai Emery is like the Europa League specialist. So
Champions League.
Yeah, so I think he's probably going to aim to finish third anyway, so they can go down to Europa League. That's
not a bad shout. Actually. Inter, your team always seems to be in the group of death. This year's not quite group of death. It's pretty close. Is this going to be the year you guys finally get out of the group stages? I mean, Real Madrid's going to be difficult. I mean, and especially if they get Mbappe, who knows if they get him or not. And then Shakhtar is always difficult. They're very good in European competitions. What are your chances? What are your thoughts on the chances of your team progressing out of the group stages finally?
Oh, we have to get out this year. We have to. It's embarrassing if we don't do it for the 4th year in a row. Yeah. And it's Groundhog Day. It was the exact same group last year, apart from that Sheriff Tiraspol team.
Gladbach, yeah.
Yeah, Gladbach instead of Sheriff. So it's slightly better group than last year. So we
we
finished last in the group last year.
So third.
But nah, I mean, Sheriff. All respect due to them, Moldova's first team in the Champions League or whatever. But we have to take 6 points there.
Yeah.
And then Real Madrid, yes, even if they get Mbappe, like even against Real Madrid last year, they looked pretty weak at the back. Now without Varane and Ramos as well, like they're not the greatest Real Madrid team.
No.
But they probably will finish first. But we have to finish at least second in that. Shakhtar are good, as you said. They're always tricky in Europe, but the issue we had with Shakhtar last year was that they sat back, they parked the bus against us, which we really struggle with. But this year with De Zerbi, they're not going to do that. They're going to play. They're going to play football. They're going to be open. So we shouldn't have as many issues with Shakhtar this time round. And we need to take revenge on those guys.
I would not be surprised if De Zerbi has some tricks up his sleeves, being obviously from Sassuolo last year, and Sassuolo's always been a thorn in your side. So I'm sure he's going to have some ideas. Obviously, Inzaghi is different from Conte, but De Zerbi does know how to play against Inter as a whole, and this is the big game I think of the group. I think if you guys can handle Shakhtar home and away, especially away, that's a difficult fixture.
Yeah.
That's going to be important for you guys to get out. I think that makes or breaks whether you guys can get out or not. I think you guys will finally do it as well. I think it's a more desirable group than it was previously. Real Madrid, if you get a point off of them, that'll be a win there, I think, overall. So you need to get your 6 points for Sheriff, and at least, if not 6, 4 points from Shakhtar, and I think you should be able to get through. And then my team, Milan, they're certainly in a group of death. Atleti is certainly, didn't they win the La Liga last year? Yeah, Porto, Liverpool's obviously won the European Championship a couple years ago. So it's going to be a strong group. If they get out of this group, I think it's a victory in itself. Many people say, hey, maybe Milan can go deep this year. Potentially, but I look at it also as maybe they get out of the group early and they can just focus on the Scudetto this year in Coppa Italia. Who knows? What are your thoughts on Milan's chances of getting out of this group?
Nah, yeah, you guys definitely got the worst group, I have to say. Unfortunate for you guys, but I think you could make it, but I think I predict third place finish. But yeah, if you do make it, you really like massive props to you guys, because you actually did quite well in Europe last year. Like even against Man United, I remember you guys. You played Castillejo as like a false nine, and you still, you just about lost against Man United. It was. I think you can do well. I think you can surprise people, and it'll be annoying as hell because I know Milan fans. If you get out of the group stage, the amount of shit talking that we deserve as well.
Winning the cup, we're winning the cup.
Well, no, just for Inter not making it out.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. That's a big year now. It's going to be even more shit talking between the two clubs here. So important for both teams to make it out. Otherwise,
but it's nice to see both the Milan clubs back in Champions League, though.
Yeah, it's Europe is better with the two Milan clubs in it. I think Champions League for sure. Europa League, Napoli are in a difficult group. Legia Warsaw, that's a difficult away. Leicester City, strong European team. Where you're at, and Spartak Moscow. Three decent teams there. It's not necessarily a group of death. Maybe it's as close as you're going to get for Europa League. Chances Napoli. You think Napoli can get out in that group? It's if they play the way they can, they should. But no, Spartak and Legia Warsaw are going to be difficult games, I think.
The problem with Italian teams in Europe is, especially Europa League, is that they don't seem to take it seriously. So it depends on whether Spalletti, decides that he wants to take this seriously, because they have the depth as well to swap things around.
Oh yeah.
So I hope they do take it seriously, and I hope they do, because I do want to go watch them when they come to Leicester City. With the King Power is only 10 minutes away from me. I think me, Perisnich, maybe a few other Twitter guys were planning to go that. Spalletti ball live. So yeah, Napoli should be able to get out of that group surely. But I just hope one of the Italian teams takes the Europa League seriously, because it is a good trophy to win. I know it's one of those trophies that you only start to take seriously when you get into the latter stages. We're in the semi-final now, so we might as well take it serious. But I feel like if a team just takes it serious from the beginning and just aims to win it, they could really do it, like you saw with Villarreal last year.
No, 100%. And then a team or a manager who does take these tournaments more seriously, we've seen him, he's had the victories. Of course, I'm talking about Maurizio Sarri and Lazio. They're in a group with Galatasaray, Lokomotiv Moscow, and Marseille. That's a pretty difficult group as well. But Sarri seems to thrive in these tournaments, it seems like, or at least a Europa League. So he'll be familiar with the way he needs to approach these kind of games. Lazio, last year were in a difficult group and they got out somehow. They figured out a way to progress in Champions League. I think it's a tall task. Marseille, Galatasaray, especially Galatasaray at home, and Lokomotiv Moscow at home. It's going to be difficult, but I think Lazio under Sarri ball find a way to progress out of this group. Your thoughts on Lazio?
Yeah, that group is like the hooligan group of death. Like all the worst.
Oh my gosh,
hooligans! Marseille, Galatasaray, all the most violent teams. Lazio, all put together. Yeah, there's a tricky group. It's very balanced. There's no real standout. So I don't know. What's the Sarri usually like in Europe? I can't really remember what he was like at Napoli.
Napoli wasn't that great, but obviously he won at Chelsea. He got his only trophy there his 1 year that he was there. So he maybe just because he had a team that had a really fantastic team around him. Obviously they won the European Championship last year. So it could have been a team around him, but I think Sarri will do well with Napoli. Hopefully a lot more
with Lazio, the issue with Lazio has always been their depth, and they haven't really addressed it at the moment. So
that's true.
I'm gonna put them to finish second.
Okay, I guess as long as they get out of the group, and obviously we want to see all the Italian teams do well, especially including Roma in the Conference League. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. It's a rock paper scissors, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I can imagine Mourinho wanting to win that just because to be the first ever to win it.
Yeah, that's true. You know, him and his ego, he'd love to be the first one to claim that, put it on his shelf, right? Next to all the bonsais. Oh, should I say that? No, I shouldn't say that.
Jerry will love you for that one.
Oh, I know, right? Hey, I'm wearing a Roma Club DC shirt, so hey, I got to represent Roma a little bit, huh? Even though thank them for the t-shirts and everything. Before we get into Who Won Calcio, Twitter, thoughts on Capocannoniere this year. Obviously, Ronaldo's out of the picture. He was my pick. He's gone, so I'm going to have to pick somebody else. Last year, I picked Duvan Zapata. He didn't do so well. I'm going to have to find a new person here. What are your thoughts on who's going to be top goal scorer this year?
I mean, it's kind of skewed from the way he started, but usually Sarri strikers usually score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And then he had kind of a quieter, like by his standards or his recent standards, it was kind of a quiet year for Immobile last year. So I feel like Immobile this year will bag it.
That's not a bad shout. Someone was saying maybe Olivier Giroud would get an opportunity. Silvestri's up there in the goals. He's got 2 goals so far this year. I don't think he's going to make it. Neither is Veretout. Veretout's getting his goals this year. Tabby Abraham's not as a bad shout. Osimhen's obviously one that many people are picking. I'm going to figure out who to pick here.
The thing with Osimhen is he's going to go to AFCON.
That's true. He's going to miss a lot of time, so that's going to hurt his chances there. So that's a really great shout, actually. So yeah, I'll figure something out here. I'll pick somebody here before the end of the Mercato here.
Lautaro maybe.
That is maybe Correa. Hamza says Immobile 40 goals this season. Ooh. That would be impressive. He thinks he's going to be top scorer, so hopefully 40 is the top scorer, but you never know. With all the goals going in Serie A lately, you never know what's going to happen. So. Interesting takes there. Let us know at Serie A Sit Down your thoughts on the last week of action there, and as well as who's going to be the top goal scorer in Serie A, and then your thoughts on all the teams in Europe. How will they do? Will they win? Will they get out? Will be laughing stocks to be determined. Well, we're going to get to Who Won Calcio Twitter. Obviously, we have one of Mr. Who Won Calcio Twitter's here, guy, constantly being nominated here.
I've got my two trophies back in the this is the shelf there.
Well, you're going to help me pick tonight. Maybe you're one of the ones that you pick yourself. I don't know. But let's see.
I can't pick myself.
We're definitely going to need the help of the people in the chat tonight to help us pick a winner tonight. So starting off, we're going to go with Saviusz Falahi. It's Mr. Inter. You know who he is very well. He says Milan lost the best goalkeeper in the world and still has a better goalkeeper than Inter. Pain.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a pain, too.
I'm not going to pick that one because it's just painful. Because it's true. It's just true.
Sad but true, right? Let's see what we got here.
That's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing. Yep. It says Milan having best goalkeeper and still have best goal. Okay. Magnan, yep, very good year so far. This comes from BL_1897. Chesney, whenever he makes a goalkeeping error, he goes,
he's done
it's happened again. You know the rest.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one right there. All right, let's see. Next one, it comes from
Subway. I like that one.
Subway's good. It is. @_FCIM says Ronaldo's Juve legacy will end up being Ajax, Lyon, Porto, and losing the Scudetto reign to Inter.
Yeah, I have a personal bias towards that one.
Milan Weekly Podcast nominated Jan for this next one. It says, Jerry, I found your crest. And it's Lazio and Internazionale. L'Arnazionale. All right, I like it. Creativity. All right, this one from Saturnion. One of the twins says, Man City to Maldini when he offers for Bernardo Silva. 5 years long. Get out of here. That's good. All right, Presidente says he nominates, the original tweet came from Biancanetti Zone, says Juventus are seriously considering going for Wetzel. Should McKennie leave? And then Martin V says, Juve replacing the most capable American since JFK with a Belgian Michael Jackson that rejected Juve in 2017 in order to go to China and eat some bats there. That's rough. That's rough.
Napoleonismo as usual.
As usual. All right. Milan Weekly Podcast says, amazing that Lazio gear is also available at Walmart. They have the long short sleeve kiss. Great for the evening as well.
I would not wear that. Jerry would wear that.
Very Star Trek-y. Jerry would wear that. Let's see. We already did that one. All right. Nima. nominated in this one. This comes from Zamboni. Nick Zam. He goes, Aaron Ramsey highlight 2021.
Insert Stefano Sensi as well.
Yes, that's a very good shot too. That's a very good shot. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, this one's can't show this one, so well. It must have been good. All right, this one comes from George Russell Podium. Says Inter Madrid. They calling Group D the group of death, group of debt.
That's
all right.
That's a good one.
All right. I like that one. All right, this one was nominated from me. I'd say maybe Stephen McManaman is trying to get into this Who Won Couch Twitter nominee here because he says Milan finished down the league in Serie A. Milan finished second last year. Stevie M doesn't really, I guess, follow Serie A. It's almost as bad as saying, what was a quote from ESPN a couple years ago where they were making fun of Roma? I don't know. The pundits sometimes need to do better with their pundits. Yeah, Steve McManaman.
Especially the Premier League ones.
Yeah, I know. Thierry Henry, he knows his stuff, but some of the other guys they bring up there are not so good at their history. Remember there. So Atalanta was the one like, oh, what have they done? Oh, they've always been the best, one of the best European teams lately. Close your eyes for this one because Milan Ologi says Baka. They're holding up a Çalhanoğlu jersey.
Wait, you're gonna have to explain that one to me.
So these two held up an Acerbi jersey after the beef that they had in their game against Lazio several years ago. So now they're holding up Çalhanoğlu, making fun of him, I guess.
Well, good thing because it's got beef.
Yeah. Because he left and he was already throwing jibes at Milan, I guess. This was a funny one for Materazzi. Said, Ronaldo, I want to leave Juventus.
Wow, this guy got loads of. They got like 12K retweets for that.
That's right. Well, when you mentioned the man there, of course, you're getting a lot of retweets there. So that's a funny one there. Brian Johnson says, what's the original tweet? The original tweet was, that was that tweet. So Brian Johnson says, meanwhile, Milan, we want you to leave. Castillejo, you know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. This show goes on. Castillejo, another bane of Milan existence.
Oh man, I heard he had to come off social media because he was getting so much abuse.
Totti's armband getting the action says Ronaldo's final appearance in Serie A will go down as a blowing 2-0 lead to Udinese, then taking his shirt off and going nuts to an offside goal like he won the World Cup. Tears coming out. Oh, that's good. Gianni with a nomination on that one. This one comes on from Juventus. It changed their name to Juventus. Juventus TV will be streaming at Cristiano Ronaldo's free kick goals for Juventus tonight. Start at 12 o'clock and at 12:01.
This is my favorite till now.
This is funny.
I like Cristiano Ronaldo free kick slander. I enjoy that.
All right, this one is nominated. It says, imagine spending $100 million on Jack Grealish, then missing out on Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in the same window. True that. All right, this one comes in from Divine Giallo Rossi. Remember when Ronaldo brought all those Champions League titles to Juve? That was awesome.
It was.
The old SNL kit there, or SNL skit, I should say. Hey, look, you get a nomination here. Dybala realizing he's allowed to take free kicks again.
Oh, this one is only good if you have sound on, playing.
Yeah, I can hear it. You guys should listen to it. Return up the Mac. That was great. All right, let's see what else we got here. Napolinissimo back at it again. 14 times possession loss. Wesley Sneijder. Oh, that's good. All right, Inter Dave's nominating. This one's a good one too. Alessandro Bastoni, the great one. I just tested positive for Correa 19. 2 goals.
Hey, I do like that one, but
I do too.
People are gonna call me biased if I pick that one.
Napolinissimo was intimate this week. He says, "Don't cry because it's over. Cries because it happened." Oh, that's good. And then how many? We got a lot this week. My goodness.
Frank must have the notifications on for his tweets.
Yeah. No kidding. At Big Mac _ says, what does a Croatian frog say? Rabic.
I do like some Rebic slander as well.
Yep. Sean McIntosh getting the action says, Chiro has more goals than Juve has points in the table. Dude, that's true. That is true. Let's see. This one was funny. Someone pretending to be Andrea Pirlo saying, miss me?
That was good.
And then the last one for tonight, Michael Lisi coming in with Çalhanoğlu who?
Yeah, that's a good pun. All right.
Okay, of all of them, who are you going with? It's a lot of tough
I
ones.
like the Ronaldo free kick one and the Correa 19.
The Correa 19, that was a good one. There was one early on that was really funny as well. I can't remember that. This one was good as well. The one with Ronaldo, I want to leave, and
yeah, but he's got enough credit, you know. He's got his 12K retweets.
He does. I like this one too from Saturnion about kicking out Maldini.
Yeah, that was good.
Ooh, Szczesny one was pretty good.
The Szczesny one's good. Yeah, the Szczesny one is good as well. I don't mind. You can pick out those three. You can pick out those three.
I don't mind a little Juve slander here and there now and then. So
yeah,
maybe I might have to go with this one. I think.
Yeah, because it's like usually Arsenal fans use this for when Spurs, you know, when Spurs do the Spursy thing. So it's quite nice, quite fitting.
I did it again. I did it again. You know the rest. So, okay. I think it's going to be unanimous in this one. It's going to be the winner this week is BL_1897. Szczesny, whenever he makes a goalkeeping error, watch the video. It's funny. It's better with the sound on, believe me. So that is our winner this evening. Okay, that wraps this one up. We got someone in the comments here says that Instagram videos of Cristiano by Inter fans were next level. We need to get on the Instagram, Who Won Couch Twitter there, or Who Won Couch Show Instagram. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
We'll make it a thing there. So he said I sent that video of the Sharma of Cristiano.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
All right, so let's put a bow on this one, Uncle Sharma. It's your chance here. Tell everybody, plug yourself away, and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, no, if you type in Uncle Sharma on YouTube, you should find me. And yeah, on Twitter at @rshams. And on Instagram at the Uncle Sharma. So yeah, into content, into match reaction previews, but also Serie A content as well. So yeah, check me out.
Definitely check him out. You will not regret following him with his constant banter and Who Won Couch Twitter nominees, and obviously the great content he puts out both on Twitter, but as well as on YouTube. Make sure you follow his page. We're going to put links on in our description when this podcast comes out, so definitely give him a follow. Thank you again for joining us tonight, for being my co-host in Frank's absence. Frank, hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
It's international break, so we won't be here next week more than likely. I'm going to take a little vacation before the international break is over. So you can follow me at R_KHARMAN. You can follow Frank FTC at FTC_21, and make sure you follow us on YouTube. Click, like, and leave comments. Subscribe to our page, and then as always, you can follow our podcast anywhere that streams music. And definitely, again, as I said, follow Uncle Sharma. He is a must follow theirs too. So for Uncle Sharma, for Frank, for myself. Thank you, ragazzi, and we'll catch you next week. Ciao.